Okay, before I actually start this thing, I want to define a few terms that will be used. Hirschsprung's disease, a condition of the large intestine, that causes difficulty passing stool. DeGeorge syndrome, a chromosomal disorder that results in poor development of several body systems. Chiari malformation, a condition in which brain tissue extends into the spinal canal, present at birth. Factor V Leiden, an inherited blood clotting disorder due to a mutation of the blood's factor V protein. G-tube, or Mickey button, a low-profile gastronomy feeding tube. NG-tube, a nasogastric tube, a tube that has passed through the nose and down through the nasopharynx and esophagus into the stomach. Okay, let's begin. It's important to remember that life is a joke, and that outlook grants a lot of perspective, but I don't think comedy should change and become political due to other things. It should just laugh at the cosmic joke that life is all the time. John Mulaney. For my family, comedy has been our escape. My family has an encyclopedia worth of medical problems, and not just a single volume, it's a box set. My cousin has Hirschsprung's, my little brother has DeGeorge syndrome, a couple of my aunts have had cancer, one of the aunts that had cancer also has Chiari malformation, a chunk of my family has diabetes, I have factor V Leiden, and the dog is allergic to chicken. With all of these issues, most families would, understandably, be struck by unimaginable sadness. And I'm not saying we initially weren't, but we've been able to get through all these years with a healthy dose of comedy? Healthy dose of comedy? Anyway, a prime example of this is whenever my cousin, with Hirschsprung's, would get a new NG tube or a Mickey button. You see, besides being a weird family medically, my family's sense of humor is unique. When my cousin would get a new tube, my family took it upon themselves to name it. Some names included Fred, George, Charlie, and the famous General Sal, or just the General for short. And that was just the G-tube. His NG tube was also dubbed Chucky at one point. Another thing we would do, and this is less of a comedy thing, would be to celebrate with cake anytime someone would come back from an operation. In hindsight, the cake may have been cause for further issues, but it was something we did to survive mentally. When talking to my aunt about this project, she said that's impossible to live life without humor. When life gives you problems, you've got to deal with them. Why not use humor? Now, besides the whole humor to deal with problems side of things, I've also grown up surrounded by comedy. Besides my mom's extensive horror movie collection, we also had a substantial comedy section. Everything from Disney's Who Framed Roger Rabbit to that ever-fabulous Rocky Horror Picture Show. We had a diverse range of film. Undoubtedly, some of our favorite comedies featured the late and great Robin Williams. Mrs. Doubtfire, Hook, Jumanji, RV, Flubber. All of these impacted both my sense of humor and my personality as a whole, but none more than Disney's Aladdin. Robin Williams' performance in Aladdin is unforgettable and definitely leaves a lasting impression on anyone who watches the film. Aladdin was what really got me into comedy, into Robin Williams and other comics. Some of my favorites, besides Robin Williams, include Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias, Hannah Gadsby, John Mulaney, and Ellen DeGeneres, as well as many others. Not only do these comedians entertain people, but they are also helping boost the mood of others. According to helpguide.org, laughter releases physical tension, decreases stress hormones, increases endorphins, and increases blood flow. So, not only is humor entertaining, it's actually beneficial to those involved. Humor has always been important to me. Having a good sense of humor is key to living a happy life. This I believe.